In a moment, you'll see and hear exactly how to accomplish everything that you desire to do about gunsmithing. Gene Kelly, your host, Machine Gun Kelly, is the founder and president of American Gunsmithing Institute for over 20 years. He's been responsible for teaching gunsmiths in the numbers of the thousands in the United States and around the world. He himself is a certified gunsmith for over 30 years and is experienced in numerous of the firearms trades, including manufacturing and design. In addition, he's a certified gunsmith for over 40 years. He's a published author, a certified protection professional, a licensed manufacturer. He's a former deputy warden, licensed security contractor, expert witness in the federal state courts, a world traveler hunter, licensed FFL, machine gun dealer. He's the host of Gun Tech Magazine, which we do every month, and some of you may have seen that. If you haven't, you got to get it. It's a real kick, and it'll be like ongoing education about gunsmithing. He's written hundreds of gun articles, and he's been extensively interviewed in radio and TV about gunsmithing as well as other trades, locksmithing, machining, welding. He's a first-generation, God-blessed millionaire. He's father, husband, is on the board of a number of different charities, and he's very well qualified to be able to speak with you today and talk to you about how to become a gunsmith and how to do that successfully. So without further ado, let me introduce Gene Kelly. I have the pleasure of working with him on a daily basis.
Thank you. So we're going to slay 7 deadly gunsmithing myths that may be keeping you from becoming a successful gunsmith. We have many people here that are already AGI certified gunsmiths, but even you should be able to take something away from this presentation and to enhance your skills, enhance your business of gunsmithing. So there's 7 deadly myths that are in people's minds, that are out on the internet, that people are talking about or not talking about because they fear these things. And it's what holds them back. And it's not necessary. And so today, we're pulling out the broadsword and we're going to slay these myths, hopefully once and for all. Now, one of the very first myths that people have internally in their own mind, and this is what you're fighting, these myths in your mind, because they're not real, they're myths. And that is, I don't have the skills to be a gunsmith. What do you mean you don't have the skills? I don't have the skills. There's got to be some sort of magic and artsiness and craftsmanship and things that I don't have. Well, that's not the truth. The truth is you don't have the knowledge to be a gunsmith. And what you really need is the knowledge. And that's what the American Gunsmithing Institute provides you, is the knowledge step by step, systematically, to be able to analyze a problem and make the appropriate repair. That's what we deliver on. And as we provide you that knowledge in your mind and you internalize that knowledge, your hands will be able to do the work. Now, do you need to develop some tactile skills? Absolutely. And that comes through a little practice and repetition. But that only happens when you know how to direct your hands and have them do something specific. Where we run into problems, and when I was a gunsmith, young gunsmith, the American Gunsmithing Institute did not exist. Now, I was thankful that I studied under Master Gunsmith Bob Dunlap, and Bob is the master. Bob taught us something that no one else around the country, and when I've traveled, and I've been to some of the finest gunsmithing schools in the world, they don't teach it there either. Design, function, and then repair. And as our students know so well, being able to internalize that knowledge of systems and being able to look at a firearm and understand what's going on, now you can make the appropriate repair because you understand. If you have that knowledge, you can teach your hands to do the work. So that's dragon number 1 that I run into, and we need to slay that. You can do the work. That's the first thing you have to be able to believe. We have people of all levels of manual dexterity that are being successful at gunsmiths. We have people that are severely handicapped, missing arms, missing legs, eye problems, hearing problems. They're successful gunsmiths. You can do this. Everyone can do this if they understand what they're doing. So the very first dragon is, again, your belief that somehow you can't accomplish being a professional gunsmith. And I'm here to tell you that you can. I'm not a Superman. I had my issues with working way through gunsmithing, learning the hard way, because there wasn't a system like the American Gunsmithing Institute. And so I was privileged to work with Bob Dunlap after going through gunsmithing school, after having worked in shops, after having been a manufacturer and developing firearms and designing firearms, to finally be able to document this system in such a way that anyone could learn it. And we have thousands of students around the world that have in fact learned gunsmithing step by step through our program. Dragon number one, myth number one. Please, if you need to slay this in your own life, at least talk to our students. We have students all around the country we'll be happy to put you in contact with. We have piles and piles of testimonial letters. These guys are ordinary people that had a dream. And that dream was to become a gunsmith. And the way they could do it was working with our program, and they've done it. And you're going to hear from many of them. The second issue that we come up with a lot is this fear of the government. Now, I'm not a fan of the bureaucracies. They ruin my life on a daily basis. There's people out there that make decisions that impact my life that I don't like. But when it comes to gunsmithing, the reality is it's pretty straightforward. You get an FFL, get a federal firearms license, an FFL, and it's not that difficult to get. If you're not a felon, in fact, if you are a felon, please do not apply for our program because we will not put you through it. But if you are not a felon and a normal person, you can get a federal firearms license. And generally, you can get one from home. There are situations with zoning and so on where you can't get one from home, but there are other options. What I'm saying is many people allow issues in their mind or small issues to stop them. If you want to be successful in life, and if you want to be successful as a gunsmith, you do not let minor things stop you. You simply look for the next way to get to where you want to go. And I'm a licensed manufacturer in the state of California for automatic weapons. Is that an easy set of licenses to get? No. Did I get them? Absolutely. Have I had a problem with 20-some years of having my licenses? No. Have I had a problem with the federal government or ATF with licensing? No. Most of these people are doing their job, and as long as you do your job reasonably, you're not going to have a problem. So don't fear the government. If you're fearing the government stops you from moving forward to what you want to do, and you're not able to help not only yourself, but all your people around you that could use gunsmithing, then that's a crime. And we need to slay that dragon right now. It's not an issue. Talk to other guys in the industry. They get their federal firearms licenses, especially as gunsmiths, pretty quickly. I had one person recently tell me that their agent said, "This will be the last time you see me." Because they're not that interested in gunsmiths. They're more concerned about people that are buying and selling a lot of firearms that may not be doing proper record keeping. If you're a gunsmith, do your record keeping properly, and you're not going to have any issues. All right? Let's kill that one. The next one that we run into a lot is, oh my goodness, it's going to take this huge gunsmithing shop and a fortune to be a gunsmith. Well, as some of our gunsmiths will tell you that love to buy tools, you can spend a fortune. I can spend a fortune. That's the truth. There's all kinds of gadgets you'd love to have. But the reality is you do not need that much in tools to get started in gunsmithing. And the way I like our students to get into this business is not to go out and buy the state-of-the-art CNC milling machine and expensive tooling and so on, and rent at least a big shop. You know, you don't even know where exactly you want to go yet with your gunsmithing career. Many people like to specialize. They have funds in a particular area, or they have a niche that they develop that people want to bring them the work. restoration, customization, with carry guns, hunting guns, custom rifle building, whatever it is that you want to do. And you're going to want to tailor your shop that direction. So don't overinvest to begin with. The fact of the matter is, for literally a couple $1,000s, you can get all the tools you need to do basic repair gunsmithing. We're talking, you're going to need a set of hand tools, which is a few screwdrivers, a couple of hammers, pin punch sets, some stones. You'll need a good vise. You'll need about 8 to 10 feet of bench space. You're going to need a belt sander, a small drill press, and a good Fordham tool with a foot rheostat. And we talk about all that in our courses. We explain to you the tools you need. And the guys that are our gunsmiths will tell you, you can do the majority of gunsmithing, general repair, with exactly that. Now, if you're going to get into custom barreling rifles, sure, you're going to need a better lathe. You're going to need a lathe. If you're going to get into building custom slides for 1911s or something like that, you're going to want to get a nice mill. These are tools, but you don't need those tools right away. In fact, even when you're getting into first doing those things, you can find a machinist or someone that does welding for you and get them with their specialty and all of their dollars invested in equipment to do those small things for you to begin with until you actually know the direction you want to go. So, myth number 3 that I run into a lot is, oh my God, you've got to be a machinist and have all of these tools and everything. If you're a machinist, take your hat off. I take my hat off to you, because those are great skill sets to have. And we teach complete machining, lathe and mill. These are great skills to have, but you don't need to have it all from the beginning. So, there's number 3. You don't need to make a huge investment. If you're really curious, you can either, again, talk to some of our students or talk to our staff, and we can explain to you exactly the tools you need for what and for where. And the American Gunsmithing Institute provides a great deal of technical support to our gunsmithing students via email, via phone, and if there's questions that they have, we really are wanting to make sure that we help them out. So the 4th myth that I run into a lot is there isn't a need for gunsmiths. Boy, I tell you, when I stand at these shows or I go to a gun show and somebody finds out we're involved with gunsmithing, it's like, bee's nest around you. I mean, all the buzz, everybody wants to know about where can they find a good gunsmith. I need a gunsmith. We don't have enough people to refer around, even around the country. There are several 100 million firearms in the United States. So, and at any given time, at least 10% of those need professional cleaning, need customizing, or some sort of repair. I mean, just think of your own collection of guns. How many guns of those would you like to do something custom to, actually need to get around to cleaning, or actually want to repair? And easily it's 10%, right? So you are going to need to try and address that 10% that's out there. That means that's like 30 million firearms at any given time could use this work. So who's going to do that work? They would require thousands of gunsmiths, additional gunsmiths right now just to do that work. Now in the past, guns have been a little bit of a commodity. So someone bought a shotgun, it broke, they put it in the corner, and they went and bought another one. Well, that isn't going to always be the case, right? We see it coming. There's more and more regulation on the ownership of firearms. So it's not as easy to just do that. People are going to need their guns repaired. But that's not the only reason. If someone has a gun from their youth or from grandfather or whatever, they want those guns repaired, even if they're not using them every day. In addition, you have a number of firearms that are being purchased new now, and those owners want those guns customized. Everybody likes to have something that's unique to themselves, something they show their friends, something that they feel comfortable with, something they feel confident with when they're going to use it for self-defense or for that one hunt of a lifetime. You can provide those people with what they want. This is a business. It's an art, it's a craft, it's a trade, but it's a business. You can work as a gunsmith for yourself or work for other people. And that's really my next point, is there are people that say you can't make any money as a gunsmith, or they have the other view that, gee, I'm now a gunsmith, and I'm going to hang out my shingle, and the whole world is going to come rushing to me. It's a business. No business should expect to go into business and not have a plan for marketing. And that's one of the things we provide our students as well in our advanced courses. Marketing and business success. You need to know how to approach your market. You need to develop some marketing skills. It doesn't take a lot. There's such a vacuum that people, again, are trading gunsmiths' phone numbers like secrets. They need to get a good gunsmith. And when a good gunsmith gets a reputation out, and there's a few ways you can do that more rapidly, people are coming to you. I spoke with one gentleman yesterday that it's a 20-minute drive out in the country from the nearest town, and he has people coming from several hours away, making appointments oftentimes days in advance just to get in so that he can do the work for them. And he has a significant backlog. I talked to other gunsmiths that have months-long backlogs. What's different, though, is many self-taught gunsmiths, and there are those out there, and I applaud their effort, but if they don't understand design, function, repair, what we teach, they're going to have a very difficult time. And these are the gunsmiths where you hear that a gun's been at so-and-so's for a year and hasn't been fixed. They may not be that backed up, they just may not know how to fix it. And with our system, our students should be able to look at any gun they haven't seen before, understand the design by looking at the systems, analyze what's wrong, and be able to make the appropriate repair. They know how to do this, and if they get stuck, there are resources that support our students. So gunsmiths should be busy, and they should be able to make a living. Now, am I going to promise you that you're going to get rich being a gunsmith? I know a few rich gunsmiths. I know a few gunsmiths that got rich by starting as gunsmiths and then finding a niche that worked for them. If you look at all the top 1911 producers right now, there's a lot of brand names, and I don't want to say them right here, but top brand names, gunsmiths that you would know. They started off as general gunsmiths, most of them, and moved into a specialty. There are some people that produce some excellent restoration that have very successful businesses. Again, I don't want to name them, but they are people that I would name as far as the quality of their work. And having that level of work has brought them personal and financial success. And that is achievable by anyone that wants to dedicate themselves to doing good work and getting a reputation for that. However, a lot of our gunsmiths are people that are moving from full-time work into retirement. They don't want to be that busy. I've had people tell me recently a lot, I'm busier than I wanted to be. They wanted a kind of an enjoyable retirement income. They got an enjoyable retirement income, but they're busier because people are saying, hey, I've got all these guns I need repaired. And once they bring in one and you do a good job on it, you don't have a customer for just a day. You should have a customer for a lifetime. And every customer, and this is part of what we teach, should be like a pebble in the pond, and it ripples out. And as people hear about you, and then you amplify that with a small amount of effective marketing that we talk about and we teach, people will be coming to you from around your region, around the state, and even across the country and around the world, depending on what you're doing and what you're delivering. There are numerous subspecialties to the gunsmithing general repair. So general repair is something I feel every competent gunsmith should be able to do. It may not be what they want to specialize in, but they should understand design, function, and repair well enough that they can fix just about anything. By doing so, that gives them the foundation to be able to do custom work. Because we've seen custom work come through where the metal work is beautiful. The woodwork was awesome. The gun just didn't flip and work. That's because they didn't understand the mechanical aspects of design, function, repair in the first place, and then go through the process of ensuring that all the mechanical aspects were working. They were too focused on only the art form. And this is where someone that has a skill set that is already close to gunsmithing can be very successful. Machinists, welders, finished carpenters, general repair people, anyone that has that kind of skill set and the mindset of how things should flow and how things should look when you're done with it. Because there's work you can do in any trades. I have a background in some other trades as well. And, you know, how the work looks behind the scenes when nobody knows but you is an important reflection on how it's going to be on the outside. And so you are capable of doing this work. Virtually anyone can do this work. Again, you must understand first, this is our bedrock position, design, function, and repair. And it's so liberating. I can walk around the show that we're going to at the NRA and so on and pick up different firearms, look at them and understand what's going on, and be able to analyze whether or not, is this fitted up correctly? This is a manufactured gun, and I don't want to shock all of you, but many firearms come from the factory not fitted properly. They have loose breech, they have other problems that you run into right out of the box. And unfortunately, many of the people that are assembling these firearms, they are not gunsmiths. They are production workers. They know how to put the lime in the coconut all day long, right? But they don't know what they're really doing. We've talked to people in factories where they put various parts in, and all they know is that they're putting the parts in this particular way, and they kind of have an idea what it does, but they don't understand the tolerances. They don't understand all of the needs for the need for how it integrates into everything else, and to be able to say, is this right now? Our gunsmiths, our students are capable of doing that. Now, you're not going to learn everything overnight. It does take some time to fully, bring this into, you internalize this is really what I'm saying. Being able to internalize this knowledge, but it starts from the building block approach that we utilize of starting with a platform. And with the American Gunsmithing Institute, we start with the 1911 .45 automatic, the John Browning's design, the locked breech link system, and we take you from that, through that system, as a bedrock system to understand so many other systems. And from there, we spider web out, teaching you about cam lock systems and various other systems and fire controls and extractors and feeding and so on. And having that ability to look at a system and understand how it's designed to work and then what is not working is what gives you the ability to be a real gunsmith, actually, a real repair gunsmith, and then from there, a custom gunsmith if you so choose. Some of the just subsets of gunsmithing: customizing pistols for carry, for various different competitions, for rifles for hunting, rifles for bench shooting, long distance shooting, restoration work. You have the whole muzzleloading community, black powder community. You have antique restoration, firearm restoration from modern firearms that have been in fires and so on. I mean, this military firearms, it's a very broad spectrum with many sub-niches that you can get into as much as you want or as little as you want. There is a demand. So the myth that I'm slaying here is there a need for gunsmiths, number one? And number two, how can I make some money in this business? And you make money by knowing first off how to quickly analyze things and get to the repair. If you're spending a great deal of time agonizing over what is actually going on here and what is the problem, you aren't going to be able to do what you want to do and be real successful. And that's why our program's so important, because the entire system is all indexed. So if you get stuck, and many of our students tell me they do this all the time, they're studying part of it, they've got a lot of the program internalized, but they get to a section that they really haven't internalized yet, And they'll just simply pop in a DVD, review that section, say, now I remember, and are able to go ahead and do the repair. So it's like having a gunsmithing instructor with you all the time, looking over your shoulder. You know, sometimes I call it gunsmith in a can. So you have a gunsmithing instructor in a can. Whenever you need to get to them, simply put your DVD in, check that section, or if you're studying online, go to the section indexed and do a quick review. But this, again, what we're slaying here is this a business? This is a business. And you can build this business as big or as small as you want. Most of our students, as I said, are really interested in this as a part-time business to add some income to their overall income, or it's lifestyle. And I would say the majority are really enjoying the lifestyle. They want to do this because they want to do this. And I think that's the best way to be in business, because it's your personal passion that's going to carry you through when things are not going well. So that's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is I can point to a number of gunsmiths, particularly right now, some of the custom 1911 builders, some of the custom rifle builders. You would know all these different names. They have dozens of employees. They're running multi-million-dollar operations. That could be you as well. It's really your choice. And that's the thing that I want to point out here really deeply, is that all of this is your choice. There's nothing that is stopping you from being a successful gunsmith. Again, we have people without legs, without arms, some without an eye or hearing, that are able to be successful gunsmiths. What's your reason? There is no reason. If you want to be a gunsmith, you can be a gunsmith. If you want to be successful in business and you're willing to do the exchange, providing quality work, providing energy, being tenacious, you can become successful. And I know this personally. I started off with business with $100 in the checkbook, and that was gone very quickly. It vaporized. So, I mean, we were hand to mouth. When I was a gunsmithing student, I was hand to mouth. I worked on a farm on the weekends. We did whatever work we could to get the money together to go to school. And unfortunately, back in the day, we had to go to a gunsmithing school. You had to spend all your time there. You had to pay for your room and board. You had a difficult time having an income because you were going to school full time. And we've eliminated all of that with the American Gunsmithing Institute. You are able, through the absolutely premier study-at-home gunsmithing course, to study at your own pace and to refer to it whenever necessary. That was another problem I had when I was first gunsmithing. You would forget something or didn't remember exactly how it was to go, to function, because we were still a little bit young at it. We didn't have a reference. We had to try and get a hold of a friend or a former instructor and get that information. It's all preserved for you. It's instantly accessible to you. So this has been a quantum leap that we've done for this industry, and have done it with passion because I wanted to preserve these gunsmithing arts. I found out, as many of you know, that Bob Dunlap was going to retire, and he told me that when he left, that was it, because it was all in his head. There were no notes, there were no books. So convincing him to put this all on video and systemize it was no easy task, and it took us years to do. But now that we have it and you have access to it, you are starting at a place so far beyond where I was starting. So I'm confident that you can be successful starting from that place when I had to start from ground zero. And we provided you so much. In addition to Bob, there's all of our other instructors that we have now added to the American Gunsmithing Institute family. And each of these instructors have brought more to the trade. People like Gene Shuey, Jack Landis, Ken Brooks, Fred Zeglin, Mark Foster, Darrell Holland. These are all top people that are in their particular trades that have brought things to the table to share with you and to share very openly their secrets. And so this is part of what can give you the opportunity to be a successful gunsmith, to be successful in the business of gunsmithing, and I'm a very strong believer in that, when others couldn't and others won't. If Billy Bob Johnson, so-and-so, and no apologies to Billy Bob Johnson if he's out there listening, but they don't have this. They're trying to start on their own, and they're pulling a gun apart, and they might even be somewhat successful and figure it out if they've got good mechanical skills. But they're at a severe disadvantage when we teach hundreds of systems that correlate to literally millions of firearms. This is the advantage you can have right now. So slay that dragon too. This is another dragon that's in your mind keeping you from going forward as a successful gunsmith. And we want to eliminate that. And we have the ability to help you eliminate that. So here's another one. This, I'll admit this, I had this when I was a gunsmithing student. Oh my goodness, what if I screw up? What if I break something? Well, I can tell you I've broken things. I have screwed up. And I fixed it. And sometimes not without some sweat, a little perspiration and paranoia and fear, and sometimes even with a little bit of money out of my pocket, you know. But what I've found over the years is virtually everything is repairable. You can fix it. And if you get in a real bind, what we have as support for our students is we have gunsmiths, gunsmithing instructors, that you can actually send the firearm to. They will repair it, if it's at all repairable within a reasonable budget, and they'll tell you what they did. And so I have had, my absolute worst horror story is I had my dad's boss's 97 Winchester shotgun at gunsmithing school, where they didn't have the kind of support that we have now for you. And I was taking it all down to Blewett. And if you've ever done that one little extra thing you think you really ought to do, but you know you kind of shouldn't, well, I ended up having to drill out a cartridge stop screw in the side of that receiver. And I went right through the side of the receiver, drilled right through the side of the receiver. I'm looking at my dad's boss's 97 Winchester, and I'm just a kid, gunsmith, right? And I've got a hole in the side of the receiver. Long story short, got it fixed by magic of TIG welding, got it all machined up, slicked up, blued, refinished stocks. My dad's boss was blown away how beautiful it was. Now, that's about as bad as you can get, and it was no harm, no foul at the end of the deal. But it's that confidence of moving forward, and when you break things and you fix things, you get a lot of confidence. After a while, it's like, okay, I can handle this. But having the knowledge and support around you of these different approaches to doing this, first, being able to fix things mechanically. Second, having some skill sets or knowing where to get the skill sets from others of how to fix something, like the TIG welding that I had to have done. On that thing, because I didn't TIG weld at that particular moment. So I had somebody else TIG weld it. And then I just remachined it. Everything is fixable, really is. I mean, with rare exception. It's just a matter of time and money, okay? So we build firearms out of raw blocks of steel. You can too. It's not always where you should start. I don't recommend everybody get in the business of building guns from raw material unless that's what you're called to do. Start with design, function, and repair gunsmithing. Be a real gunsmith first. Then what you build will work. So it's all doable. But again, when I'm going down the list of things that people tell me that, or don't tell me, that I know that they're holding inside their head, one of those things is, oh my goodness, what if I can't fix it? Oh, I could be embarrassed. Oh. We got your back, okay? We have people that we can send the guns to get them fixed, and we've done them for students over the years. But we want to then teach you what didn't go right. And there are times, as a gunsmith, where I would actually work with a different gunsmith. Because if I'm doing restoration or a gun comes in for high-level restoration and that's not my specialty, I'm still going to take that gun in. I'm still going to work with the customer. But then I'm going to go to one of my associate friends in the American Gunsmithing Institute's network, and I'm going to say, Fred or Gene Shuey, would you please do this restoration? What would that cost for this particular part of it? They'll do the work. I bring it in. I make some money for the customer benefits. And that's part of the success of being in the gunsmithing business, is making sure at the end of the day the customer benefits. You benefit because the customer benefited. You fixed their firearm. You restored a gun. And this loops back to the whole business aspect of being in gunsmithing and the fun of it. I mean, to have people say, thank you, thank you, thank you for what you did for me. They really, really value having their guns working properly, for that hunt of a lifetime, for that self-defense, for just having the confidence that their gun's going to work if they ever ran into a self-defense situation, for the pleasure of going out shooting, for restoring something that's valuable and meaningful to them. So I have people tell me that, wow, you can't make any money doing this. Somebody brings you in a ratty old gun, and it's going to cost a small fortune to fix it. Yeah, it might. But be honest with the customer. It's that simple. You don't know what the value of that gun is to them personally. If somebody brought me in an old broken single-shot shotgun and they're driving an old pickup and they don't look like they got a lot of money and they want this fixed, I'm going to have a conversation with them. And I'm going to say, well, so, you know, this is going to take a lot of work, and I'm going to quote them a real price, but I'm going to find out how personally valuable is this gun to you. For all you know, that guy in the old pickup truck is Warren Buffett, okay? And he's got the shotgun that he went hunting with his dad. What is that gun worth to him? If you can restore that to him, for him, and do so at a fair price that's fair for you to make money, what have you done? I mean, the guy's got extra millions to throw around, you know? And that thing may have more value to him than one of his companies, because it's important emotional connection. And so you are able to offer these services to people to do these things, to bring back guns to life. That's what I see a lot of times, bringing them back to life. So have no fear, okay, guys? Have no fear. Slay that dragon. We'll get those guns fixed. In addition to that, have no fear that you can charge for it. If honestly, that shotgun, you said, look, that's going to be $500 because I'm going to have to make a firing pin for it. I'm going to create a new locking block. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do that. And the gentleman says, well, I just found it at a garage sale. It's not worth anything to me. Fine. You might buy it for a couple bucks for parts. Or you might just say, thank you very much, and you both go down the road, but you then talk about what he would be willing to invest in repairing or getting done. On the other hand, you have the Warren Buffett type, and he says, $500, how fast can I pay you? When can you get it done? Okay? So this is not just a craftsman business only. It's a business that you can take wherever you want to take it. As little as you want to do. If you just want to do your own work, we have students that do that. We have people that just work on their own collections. We have people that work for just their friends or just their gun club, just locally. We have some folks that really have a particular dream. They want to design a firearm. They want to build custom rifles of a particular type for a particular purpose, or custom handguns. The spectrum, the size is up to you. What I want to do is I want to here and now slay the things, slay those dragons in your mind that are holding you back. It's time to kill them off and to step forward. Now here's the next thing we run into is I can't afford it. I can't afford what? Or I can't afford to learn to be a gunsmith, or I can't afford to set up a shop, and so on. And I usually ask people, what does that mean to you? Because can't afford, I have found that everybody can afford anything that they're truly dedicated to getting. All right? So the first thing I challenge you is, really, how passionate are you? If you're not passionate, I agree, you can't afford it. You can't afford anything. And that's poverty mentality. And I can't make you get over it, but I want to encourage you, get over it. You can have anything you want if you're willing to dedicate yourself to getting it. And I mean, I know many, many people that have gone from scratch to being multimillionaires if that's what they were wanting. A lot of people don't want that. They want to have what they want to have, which is a nice shop and enjoying what they're doing as a retirement income. I am okay with that. If that's your passion, if that's your goal, either one of those extremes, go for it. But don't tell me you can't afford it. That's it's just baloney. We're talking you can get started gunsmithing with a few $100s worth of tools, probably half of what you got already. You need the knowledge. And the knowledge is available from us at a fraction of what you would go to a gunsmithing school to learn. You don't have to give up your job. You don't have to move somewhere and spend a couple years. You don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars. You can start off. We have students start off with our practical gunsmithing course at a base level where they can start to learn to do the first few things and work in somebody else's gun shop if they want. We have students that want to go in to one of our highest level programs right away. Matter of fact, the majority like our master courses. However, they have to make a little sacrifice sometimes to get in there. So maybe they sell the old boat, car, sell a couple guns, do whatever they need to do, tap the 401k, whatever. The return on investment potential is significant if you're willing to do the work, because the knowledge is there for you just to study. And as far as studying, I hear also, I don't have time. Well, my time's pretty crunched too. I'm running multiple businesses. I'm involved with developing a lot of these programs. Everybody's time's crunched. But all of us were given 24 hours a day by the Lord. All right? So we got the same 24 hours a day. It's a matter of what you choose to do with it. So if you're watching 3 hours, 4 hours of TV a night, multiply that out. All right? If you're spending an excessive amount of time on the internet or somewhere else, look at that. Even if you're doing something that you really enjoy, going to sports or something like that, there's time that you're trading that you could be doing something else with, if it was important enough to you. So you need to decide. You can have the time to study. Something I'm doing is I'm studying, and I need to do more of it, is I'm on a treadmill in the morning watching videos, getting a 2-for-1. So there is time available for you to learn this material. And because it's developed systematic in a building block approach, you can learn pieces of it and keep expanding upon that knowledge. And the information is there for you to go back to again and again and again whenever you need to. So time and money, I understand it's difficult. But again, it boils down to choices. So the dragons that we've talked about, just to kind of give you a quick review here, and is I can't become a gunsmith because I don't have some sort of magic artistic craft skills that are just natural. I'm a klutz. Well, I'm a klutz, but I had no problem gunsmithing because I got the knowledge of how things were to go together, come apart, how they fit, and then you teach your hands those tactile skills. It's very doable. I can't get an FFL. It's a crock. I hear that all the time. And yes, some cities are more difficult than others. Most are not. Most places you can get an FFL working out of your home, gunsmithing. But you just need to know the rules. And again, how difficult is it for life to stop you? If you get stopped at every little speed bump, you're going to have a tough time moving forward in life anywhere. You need to push past that. So you start looking at options. If a city says, oh, well, you have to have a commercial space, fine. Sublet a commercial space. Sublet it from a gun shop. You only need, for gunsmithing, a small space. So, Bob Dunlap's gun shop, with Ken Brooks working in it as well, is only about 20 by 30. Now, that is a gun shop that's doing about 1,000 guns a month in gunsmithing. And it's a small shop. and yet it's all self-contained right there. So you don't need a lot of space. Most gunsmiths could get started on literally 10 feet of bench space, a few power tools, working in your garage, working in a spare bedroom, or find a commercial space that you can sublet or even rent an office, and there you go. So it's a business, and it should be treated like a business if that's your desire to take it to being a business. If you just want to do it as a hobby, fantastic. We still have the programs for you. If you just want to do it as a retirement income, we have that available for you as well. Again, it doesn't take a lot of money. That's another myth that we talked about. Don't let people make you think that you have to own a full machine shop before you can get started. I see that out on the internet. There are some old blogs out there from 10 years ago. I saw one the other day. This is from 2007. And yet, you know, that negative talk is still out there like it's the truth. And that's sad. Don't let it affect your mind. Again, we have the support. You're not going to be hanging out there like I was hanging out there gunsmithing when I didn't have the support, and you will have the support. It's a business, and there are some simple things you can do. People don't like to hear that sometimes when I say it's a business. When I say that you need to do some marketing, they're fearful of that. It's not a big deal. We even have websites that we will put up for you if you can get in certain programs. So simple marketing, people will come to you. This is a rare skill in today's marketplace. It's like being a specialty doctor almost these days. Again, we talked about the fear of screwing up. We've all done it. We'll all do it. And you're going to get over it quickly. And hopefully faster now that we've addressed that. And we talked about, I can't afford it, quote unquote. So here's what I'd like to do next. We have a number of our gunsmiths that are our gunsmithing students that are here that have started and are on their way to being a successful gunsmith or already successful gunsmiths. And I'd like to bring them up one at a time just to give them something a little special I have for them, and just if they can say a couple of words, and then after that we will open it up to questions. Okay? So in no particular order, only the order that they were put on this list, probably because they signed up here, is Tracy Schmitt here. Tracy, I want to give you your Gunsmithing, American Gunsmithing Institute Professional Gunsmith pin. And of course, I should have gotten these all out of the package beforehand. There you go, Tracy. Now, Tracy, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story, how you got started in gunsmithing, and what you're doing right now.
Okay, well, heck, I was about 14 when I first expressed an interest in it, and one of the gentlemen that was a mentor of mine, well, kind of told me, you ain't gonna make no money in this. But he grew up in the 50s where everybody come back with the war, and there were hundreds of gunsmiths. So I took on mechanical drafting as a trade and continued with that, went to the Navy. Got out of the Navy and was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. And the muscles are going to continue to deteriorate. So I needed something that I could do for a long time to come and not need a lot of strength in the end. I first took an ICS class, and that was all right. I learned a little bit from it, but when I took the AGI course, it was all kinds of better. It was so far above the other correspondence course, it wasn't comparable. I would compare it with going to a two-year college. You get that much information. And since then, I've opened a shop in New York where I started in a 18 by 20 garage, and I was in the middle of the woods, top of a mountain, where the pavement ends keep going. And you don't think your car's going to make it up that steep part of the hill? Yeah, just crest the hill and you made it. And I had people coming from Buffalo, New York, Rochester, Niagara Falls. These people were an hour, 2 hours away. decided to move to Alabama. Buffalo winters kind of got a little rough. I was going to just retire and do it out of my garage. Well, met a couple people, and I've just opened another shop.
There you go.
It's starting to grow.
Right on. Good. Thank you very much, Tracy. Another one of our proud students, and we're very proud. I got to tell you, personally, I'm very proud of guys like Tracy. They don't give up, you know, and don't give me your sob story. Our guys do the job. Okay, John Van Cleve. Thank you, Tracy. John?
Yes, sir.
Come on up here. Proud to award you the AGI Gunsmithing pin. There you go. I'm going to put you a hole in your t-shirt in your shirt here. There we go. Let's get that on there. There you go. Why don't you turn around, John?
Thank you, sir.
And just tell people a little bit about your story.
Well, first of all, I'm 63 years old. And about this time last year, Mr. Obama's Department of Energy put me out of a job. Been at it for 41 years. And then, you know, I'm retired. I've tinkered with guns since I was a kid. And that's what I was doing, was tinkering. And I fixed a few and enjoyed bluing them and redoing stocks and those kinds of things, but never really knew, you know, all that I needed to know about fixing them. Anyway, an opportunity came about that I could take this course. So I'm in the Enhanced Master Gunsmithing course. And I've received 3 of the certificates so far. Enjoying it. It's you know, you watch the lectures, you get stuck, you go back. You know, it's design, function, repair. I've had some guns, you know, given to me to do something with, and I said, well, I'm not to that chapter right yet, but just wait a while and I'll get it fixed for you. And it's worked out pretty well for me. So in my retirement years, you know, I'm going to be doing some work. I have a small shop in a horse barn. Keep horses, so it's just a small place, but I'll be able to do my work out there.
Excellent. Thank you very much, John. See, this is another case. You know, Tracy just told you how he overcame adversity, and John's, it's just a different type of adversity. You know, suddenly losing your job after you've been years in it, what do I do next? You can either, you know, break down and melt away, or you can do something productive that you want to do, and it's productive for other people too. So, I mean, that's part of the joy you get, isn't it? When, yeah, excellent. Okay, so Mike Malcolm. Here you go, sir. I'm just going to give that a quick pin on right there, if I can. There you go.
Morning. Well, I started out, I do IT work, and it's like 24/7. And as I'm getting toward retirement, I really don't want to keep doing that. So I like working with my hands, doing woodworking, metalworking. So I decided I'd try this with the practical gunsmithing course. Got that for Christmas, I think, a year ago. Now I'm through the level 1, and I had the machine shop part and the welding part to finish for the master. Cool. So I'm enjoying it. And he's right. Going back with the videos all the time is wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. Very good. Mark Mills. Mark? And we've had some great stories. I'm sorry we don't have the time here to have everybody tell you their complete story, because there are some fabulous stories of success and everything else. But thank you for each of you to give me your comments. Okay, Mark, why don't you go ahead and...
Thanks, sir. Morning, everybody. Mark Mills, retired from the United States Air Force, 20 years. When I retired, something that I don't think you have mentioned on here is for some of you folks that are veterans, there is the chance that the VA could cover the cost of your courses. I went down and tried that avenue. I'm 90% disabled to the VA, busted back, busted hip, messed up arms. VA thought it more suited to put me out to pasture, tried to put me at 100% so I can't work. Wouldn't let them do it because I still thought I can do. So that didn't work, but I found a way to make it happen. Like I said, if you want it, you'll find a way to make it happen. Course is going great. Being in the service, any folks that are prior service, you know about learning systems. Learning systems, I used to troubleshoot F-16s. I had to learn the system. You really can, and there's lots of other jobs I've done, same type of thing. You learn the system, you really can fix just about anything. Okay, if you don't learn the system, you may get lucky and fix something once in a while, but you're not going to be real successful at it. But the way they teach it with the videos, exactly like you said, have something to go back and look at if you forget something. Just starting out, you're not going to remember everything up front. It's fantastic to have to do. I've been doing this a long time. I'm a pro course student, but I'm getting guns in already from Gunsmiths that have been in our area, regional, for years, a long time. But they didn't get it fixed right, customer didn't like what they did, or what they were told by the other gunsmith, didn't set right with them, they brought it to me and had it fixed in no time. This is something really that anybody can do. I'm very grateful for what he's done, because otherwise right now, as far as VA is concerned, I'd be out, pushing up daisies somewhere if they had it their way. I'd save them a lot of money. But where there's a will, there's a way, and if you want to better yourself in life, be it hobby, income, raise your family on, what have you, you keep doing the same old thing you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same old thing out of it. You got to change something, and this is, I looked into a lot of different courses that are offered out there, and this one hands down is the way to go. So anybody has any questions about it, please feel free to contact me anytime afterwards or whatnot. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the instructors are fantastic.
Okay, then we have Vaughn Summers. Vaughn Summers. Vaughn? Yeah, there you go, Vaughn. I'm just going to put this in your lapel there for now.
Okay. Looks like a good spot.
Yeah, there you go.
Vaughn Summers, good to see all y'all today. I lost my job along with Mr. Van Cleve, Department of Energy. Oh. And he was my boss. We used to talk about guns a whole lot. I've been involved with it since I was a kid. First my dad, he introduced me to hunting and shooting. I always loved them. I always liked to mess with them. And this opportunity arose, and it's been great so far. Really has. And one thing that I've noticed about the people, because a lot of people, I live in a small community. Everybody knows everybody's business. And they say, oh, I understand you lost your job. What are you doing? I said, well, I'm going to school to be a gunsmith on my classes and stuff. Oh, I got a gun, bro. Here, take it. I can't. I don't have my NFL. I don't have my insurance yet, but I'll call you just as soon as I'm ready. And you would not believe the amount of people that say, oh, man, I got no gun that don't work. Here, take it. It's endless. It's absolutely endless.
Right.
And it's working out great so far. I'm getting close to the end of the course, and looking forward to opening the shop. I've got the building built, got most of the material ready to go in, and I'm going to kick it off and see what happens.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
All
I mean, these are stories that all of us can relate to, one way or another. We've been in the situation, and you can do this. You can do this. All right. Is Jeremy available? Jeremy, come on up. There you go, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Let me just get that in your lapel.
It wouldn't be the first time I've been stuck with one of those either, so don't be scared.
There you go.
Thanks. Morning, everybody. I did 14 years in the Army. at year number 13, I was deployed to Afghanistan, got hurt again. They said that when I came back to get checked out that I was too broken to be feasible to be of any use in the Army anymore. Degenerative disc disease, 2 bad shoulders, I've got neck pain constantly from being in the infantry and hiking up, falling down mountains, getting blown up. After 14 years, I planned on doing 6 more in the Army. I had no idea, had never even thought about getting out. Had to decide what I wanted to do when I grew up. I've got a wife, I've got a 5-year-old son, a 1-year-old son. So I had people asking me to work on guns. Just, hey, can you take a look at this? I don't know what's wrong with it. Can you figure it out, see what's wrong? I was able to fix some things. I had no clue about other things. There were some guns that I got that I couldn't even figure out how to take apart. So I've got a buddy that was also prior service that told me about AGI, gave me one of the student representative's numbers. Then I found out about the VOC rehab program that the gentleman before me was just talking about. So I've finished, I'm in the enhanced master gunsmithing course. I've finished all the basic gunsmithing courses. I'm starting on the machine shop theory. I took a tobacco barn while I was in the Army and turned it into a garage. I had a junk room that's about 8 by 15 that I didn't do anything with. I took a week, I put walls in, I put workbenches in, all the tools that I got sent with the Enhanced Master Gunsmithing course I put in there. I've added some more tools. Big huge safe that won't fit through the door because it built the wall after I put the safe in. I got my business license in January. My FFL came in January, and I'm working on guns, trying to get the business established, going to school. My wife's in Afghanistan right now, so I'm taking care of 2 kids, doing school, and taking care of a house, and trying to get a business started. And it's hard to keep up with the work, let alone go to school, but I finally found out what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I'm enjoying it immensely. I love it, and it's fun, and you get the greatest customers in, and there are older gunsmiths around that don't know what they're doing, or it takes them a year, and people still don't hear about their guns around me, and I'm picking up the business that they have upset their customers. And it looks like it's going to be pretty successful. But it's a great program. And if you're determined, you don't think you've got the time, believe me, I don't watch TV anymore. I'm always taking care of kids, and it's always something. But it's very doable, and it's enjoyable, and it's a great program.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. Did I miss any of our students that are here? Did I miss anybody? Come on. Are you one of our students?
Yeah,
come on up. Ken, tell us your story then.
Well, I'm Ken Taylor. I'm retired Air Force. I'm a computer guy for Kindred Healthcare. But I'm really want to do something different. And I started looking at several things. I've got a mechanical design background, and I just started shooting about a year ago. Oh. I bought my first gun last January, and I love it. It's just great. And so I decided I really like this. I want to do this. So I went online. I looked at every school there is out there, and I decided, you know what? I like the idea of being able to refer back to something if I get stuck, something like that. And it's really working out great. I'm only a third of the way through the law enforcement armorer's course, and went on the floor yesterday, and there's one company that's got a brand new gun out there, and it works completely different. And I sat there and looked at it, and it's like, whoa, you're using the extractor to pull it out of the mag? And he says, yeah. And I said, it don't lock open on the last one, does it? And he says, no, it don't. And it was really cool. If you get a chance to go look at it, it's on the far left-hand wall. Right. But it's really cool. And what was really neat is, even going through this course, just a third of it, I was able to look at that and know exactly what was going on with it. You know. So
right on, cool. Right on. Very good. Cool. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. you.
Let me give it to you right now. We'll just go.
Oh, thank you.
All right, guys. You've heard from a number of different people that are backing up what I'm saying. So if you have questions, feel free to contact the American Gunsmithing Institute. Give us a call. The phone number is 1-800-797-0867. We have student advisors. Be happy to talk to you. Again, just give us a call. We're not scary. We're happy to talk with you, answer your questions, slay those dragons. So give us a call, 1-800-797-0867, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions.